I, like many others, find the paranormal interesting. I don't necessarily believe in it, but I do find the whole thing intriguing. A lot of that is down to me not experiencing stuff for myself. I've always said the only way I would ever be convinced is if I ever encountered something myself. It's all good and well seeing other people experience and talk about it, but you can't ever know for sure unless you experience it for yourself. However, a few years ago, I did encounter something strange. It started about 6 years ago in 2012. I was in my second year at university and I had just moved into my house for the year. The house was a large, old Victorian one that had been converted into a 6-bedroom student house. As soon as we moved in, we thought the house had a strange presence to it, but seeing as we spent the first couple of weeks partying, we didn't experience much. It was coming up to Halloween and the autumn break. Out of the 5 of us in the house, there was only 2. The other 3 had gone home for the week. Myself and Stuart were the only 2 people in the house. Me and Stu lived on the top floor of the house, which was essentially a loft that had been converted into 2 large bedrooms. Between our rooms was a small landing and stairs that led down to a bathroom. On this particular night, Stuart was heading out to meet someone. He came into my room, said goodbye and said he'd be back in a few hours. After about 20 minutes, I heard the distinct sound of someone coming up the stairs. I immediately panicked because I knew it was too soon for Stu to be back, and with nobody else in the house, my instant thought was an intruder. The sound was so distinct and loud that the thought of it being paranormal didn't even cross my mind. We lived in a high-crime area, so it wasn't such a far-fetched idea. Anyway, hoping that it would be Stu, I called out from my room something along the lines of, "Well, that was quick," but I didn't get a response back. The sound of the footsteps had also stopped. At this point, I was convinced there was an intruder, so I grabbed my golf club I had in my room and walked towards the door. Once I had established that there was nobody in my room, or outside of it, I opened the door the rest of the way and looked. Next to my door was a cupboard. Nobody could fit in there, but I checked anyway, and then I looked down the stairs, but it was all pitch black, and besides, I hadn't heard anyone move down them. I then checked Stu's room. I hadn't heard his door open, nor his light switch turn on, and his door was slightly open and his lights were off, so I was sure nobody had gone in since he left. I checked his room anyway, and there was nobody there. This is when I began wondering if I had indeed experienced something paranormal. I can't begin to describe just how clear the footsteps were. I could hear every detail, the steps getting louder as they walked up, the sound of legs chafing, and even the sound of socks touching the carpet. It was honestly so clear I didn't even consider it was something ghostly, just that it had to be Stu or someone. Eventually Stu did come home, and I immediately told him what I had heard. To my surprise, he wasn't all that shocked. He then began to tell me about a night when I was out, and he had heard 2 people talking in my room. His first thought was that I had snuck in with someone, or I was watching a film, but when he heard me come home some hours later, he had just assumed that I'd snuck back out and in again. It was here where we agreed we would conduct an Ouija board at some point. When I've told people this story, people always ask if I had just heard the neighbours. After all, the house was attached on both sides. I honestly can't say for certain it wasn't, but the sound was unmistakably close. I know the difference between hearing noises from neighbours and stairs right outside my room. And besides, the walls were quite thick. I hadn't heard any noise from the neighbours before, nor did I after. I also refused to believe the idea of the house just creaking, because as I said, I heard every little detail. However, this does not mean it was supernatural or paranormal. I know what I experienced was weird, but I didn't see anyone or anything, and the noise on its own just isn't conclusive enough. But as I have no other logical explanation right now, I'm leaning towards the idea that it was paranormal. However, I am open to any other theories and suggestions people might have.